Oh, yes. See this thought, yeah, of uh, of turning these fins, right, that spin the shaft around that produce electricity, high density steam, right, that's at a very high temperature because of the adding heat to it, so as to make it it only releases at a certain pressure. Yes. Now, being able to control the pressure of the actual steam, right, decides the amount of electricity that the steam generator is going to make because it'll spin around this thing like 10,000 times, and then as it cools, it begins to reform into an actual liquid, so it separates from itself. Yes. But when you add in the additional density of used petroleum products, it is able to push the fins at a greater amount of compression. Yes, so you could actually make the generator on top of it able to generate kind of a harder electricity. Yes. Now, as the cooling process takes place, it should separate itself from the steam as new steam is being introduced. It's spinning around and it's cooling, and then it goes through a different process. So it's easy to separate water from oil because of the use of dry heat. Because water boils at a different temperature than oil. Yeah. Now, this particle size. This is a really difficult question. How do I separate the impurities of recycled oil before introducing it into the actual steam? Because the steam will immediately separate everything. At those temperatures, it's really going to separate it. Now, I don't think you could actually put a filter on the steam generator itself. It would have to be something that would filter it out when it got to a certain degree. Let's say it's right below boiling. Yes. Uh, that's 212 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Celsius. When it gets to 99 degrees Celsius, then you could separate it out so that the hottest temperature hits the top of the fin and it spins it around. And then as it cools, there's less pressure on the bottom because it could have multiple fins. Well, let's say you had like 10 of them. Now, let's say you had one, right, that turns the turbine at, let's say, 8,000 degrees with the addition because of the oil. Well, as it cools to 6,000 degrees or 5,000 degrees, and then down to 2,000 degrees, and then 1,000 degrees, and then down to 100 degrees. So there's a because of the hotness of the actual steam and oil product, right, it would separate itself. Because of heat rises. Yeah. Now, is there a possibility that you could use 5 or 10 different types of fins on the actual steam generators so that as the shaft of it's turning around, the hotter temperatures slowly begin to cool so that well, you, I think you could. It doesn't have to. Well, there's a way to separate the hotness. No, I think you can do it. You don't have to use one fin, you dumb fuck. You could use 100 of them. You can, because they're all turning in the same direction. See, the hotter it is, the more compressed it is, right? And as the impurities of the oil, right, begin to separate through the cooling process of the steam generating, yes, it separates itself to different chambers of the. Well, no, it would actually work. You introduce the hottest steam at the top, right, and as it cools, it begins, the actual pressurize would push it down, 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 until it gets to the bottom of it. But because